a very respectful and graceful ma'am, Dean Liberal Arts, Manju ma'am, very known and famous. Welcome you ma'am. We also have again very famous chairman of Yogananda Center for Theology, Mr. Vivek Atre. Please give a round of applause. Welcome you, sir. We have among us Colonel Gill. Welcome you, sir. We have Dr. Subodh, sir. Welcome you, sir, from Yogananda. Other dignitaries and specialty teachers, Dr. Amita, Dr. Rudy, Saurabh, sir. Give a huge round of applause to everyone. And especially a very young student sitting here to listen what actually we will be talking and discussing about. So before we proceed with our program, we will and this Yogananda Center for Theology actually believes very much in God, spirits. So let's have a blessing from our Saraswati. May I request girls and may request the dignitaries, Dr. Banerjee, sir, Mr. Vivek Atre, Colonel Gill, Mrs. Manju Jatkana, Subodh, sir, to kindly lit the lamp. May I also request Shoolini University girl to please come to the stage and perform Saraswati Vandana.
Saratindu samakare Padmapatra visalakshi Padmakesara pravartate nityam Padma Devi Samapavatu Saraswati Namostate.
सरस्वती माँ विद्या की देवी मानी जाती है और भारतीय संस्कृति में कोई भी काम ऐसा नहीं है जो भगवान का आशीर्वाद लेके ना किया जाए। इसीलिए भारतीय संस्कृति में भगवान देवी देवता की इम्पोर्टेंस बहुत ज्यादा बताई गई है। Yes. May I request the dignitaries to come to this side, please. Thank you. So, so now may I request Manju Jatkana to kindly come on the stage and felicitate our speaker of the day, Dr. Yogananda. Thank you, ma'am. Now we request Vivek Apte sir to kindly felicitate Q Jankara. With the Tulsi plant, that is very now we are not Mr. Malik sir kindly present. Tulsi plant to Majula. So, thank you so very much, ma'am. Now we request you to kindly present the welcome to you, ma'am.
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। सुप्रभात। हम यूट्यूब की बात कर रहे हैं और ये यूट्यूब की बात कोई नई नहीं है। We are talking about the yugas of civilization, and we may think that this is something that is particularly connected with our own tradition, but our tradition goes way back. It goes way back into the past, and it also cuts across all boundaries of time and space. We find similar conversations, we find similar mentions of the ages of civilization in the Bible. We find a mention of the different ages, the golden age, the silver age, the bronze, the iron, and so on, in important writers like Dante and Ovid across the world. So हम बात तो कर रहे हैं युगों की, और हम इस तरह की कॉन्वर्सेशन इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमारी इच्छा ये है कि हम अपनी भूली हुई संस्कृति को एक बार फिर से जीवित कर दें. So our attempt is actually to revive the almost forgotten traditions of our own country. And we are doing this in Shoolini with the help of ancient Indian wisdom. As you know, our founder, Chancellor, Professor P.K. Khosla, is not just a scientist, he's also a scholar, a Vedic scholar, and he takes a lot of interest in the scriptures, in ancient Indian thought, and it is his passion to set up a university of ancient Indian wisdom. So a step towards that has been taken, and we actually have now on campus FACOLI, the Faculty of Liberal Arts and Ancient Indian Wisdom. So on behalf of the Faculty of Liberal Arts and Ancient Indian Wisdom, I welcome you all to today's event. And well, we have our own people here. We have Vivek Atraji, we have Colonel Gill, who's always with us, always supportive. Subodh ji hai. Subodh ji बहुत बड़ी अच्छी तरह से अपना योगा डिपार्टमेंट चला रहे हैं और बहुत से ऐसे काम करते रहते हैं जिनसे हमें लगता है कि हम अपने पास से जुड़े रहते हैं. So he has really taken yoga events outside the campus. He has held camps in other places also. Then we have this young lady who we feel she should be in Bollywood because she's so graceful, so beautiful. But she has done a lot of work for the Yoga Center of Theology. And this is one more event that she's organizing. We bring out the magazine, and she has a team. Supriya is not here, but Supriya also helps them. And Yoga Department, Theology Department, sabhi बहुत मिल के काम कर रहे हैं. So Dr. Banerjee sir, thank you very much. And Dr. Bhatt, who is joining us from Coimbatore, आप लोगों को मैं welcome करती हूँ और we hope to meet you again and again in similar events. So युगों की बात तो हम करते रहेंगे, शुरुआत अभी करेंगे. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for your introduction. Thanks again. Give a huge round of applause. पता चलना चाहिए आपकी योगा के बारे में आज का जो हमारा सिम्पोजियम है, मैं टाइटल आपको अभी बता चुकी हूँ. तो हमारे जो पैटर्न है योगानंदा सेंटर फॉर थियोलॉजी के प्रोफेसर प्रेम कुमार खोसला, चांसलर ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटी, वो किसी कारणवश आज हमें ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाए. हमें सुना जाना पड़ता है। तो हमने उनका मैसेज रिकॉर्ड किया है आज के इस प्रपोजल के लिए। So I request the IT team. Proposal के लिए। So I request the IT team.
First of all, I apologize for not being with you. As far as my important work, I have to attend a
So I
meeting
request the IT
where
team.
CM is going to preside over. However, my wishes, my mind and my heart is with you. So we thought first of all, I apologize for not being with you. As far as my important, very important issue, I have to attend a
So I
meeting
request the IT
where
team.
CM is going to preside over. That however my wishes, my mind and my heart is with you. In which so with our life has first of all I apologize for not being with you. We are as far as your important very important issue. I have to attend a meeting.
I request
Is going Yugas to me. First of all, I apologize for not being with you. As far as my important work, I have to attend a meeting where CM is going to preside over. However, my wishes, my mind and my heart is with you. So we thought first of all, I apologize for not being with you. As far as your important, very important issue, I have to attend a meeting Yugas where CM is going. Yugas to me that however my wishes, my mind and my heart is with you. In which so with our life has first of all I apologize for not being with you. We are as far as your important, very important particularly I have to attend a meeting Yugas where CM is going. Yugas to me but we are to however my wishes, my mind and my heart is with you. In which so with our life has first of all I apologize for not being with you. We are as far as your important, very important particularly I have to attend a meeting Yugas where CM is going. Yugas to me but we are to however my wishes, my
of the stage and occupy the seat for panel discussion. And I request Vivek sir to kindly take the charge of the discussion. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Prerna, and a warm welcome to this symposium and seminar to all the students, all the viewers, all those who are watching online. A warm welcome to Dr. Banerjee, our chief speaker, and to Dr. Bhatt, who is also joining him and me for this discussion. Dr. Bhatt is online, and he is from the Unravelling University, a renowned authority on the subject. Dr. Banerjee has done a lot of research on the subject. He is a member of the Yogananda Satsang Society like me, and his views are very much in sync with what Dr. Khosla said. So before we begin, let me bring in some preliminary thoughts, and then I'll request Dr. Banerjee to explain his views. Firstly, I'm glad to see so many students who are, some of them obviously are interested in the topic, and some of them may be here little by compulsion, but even so, we will try to make you interested in the topic. Because Dr. Banerjee and I have also been students one day, believe me, and maybe Dr. Banerjee is a young man still, but I was a student long ago, and we'll try to make this discussion interesting. What we are talking about is the Yugas. It is a timeless subject, and it is a subject which we are not going to easily digest within 1 hour. When we're talking about a timeless subject of the Yugas, 1 hour is like, not even a flash in the pan. But first, let me say that this symposium, this discussion has come about as the idea of Dr. P.K. Khosla, because he has been talking on the Yugas, thinking about the Yugas. He has been really interested in the subject in the last few years. We have been discussing it offline, that is one-to-one, he and I, other people in the Yogananda Center for Theology. And in collaboration with the yoga department, Professor Subodh is here, we would like to go further deep into the subject in the months and years to come. Because this is something which perhaps Indian society needs to know a little bit more about. And we will hope that today also these discussions will be highlighted in the press and the media, so that the views of the experts reach the masses. And then the masses can also start thinking about what are the actual truths that we are seeking. Because we should not take any truth written in any scripture or book at face value. We should try to investigate. We should try to internalize. We should try to find out for ourselves. And truth is not a fact that can be accepted without experience. So if we look at it, each of us has to internalize the journey and find out for ourselves what is the truth. So young students, I would just like to introduce the topic a little bit. And since this symposium has been organized by Shoolini University, the Yogananda Center for Theology, the yoga department, and Professor Manju Jekka, the dean, was also here. It is a collaborative effort. We hope that the document that is prepared based on these discussions will go a long way in disseminating the truth about whatever we can highlight about the subject. Our Divine Quest publication, which will come later in the year, and a special publication which we will bring out based on these discussions, will also contain these topics. Now, students, you are here, the topic is very vast and large, but let me say, we are living in 2022. We are in 2022. And we say this is 2022 AD, right? We say AD, when I was in school, we used to say Anno Domini is the full form of AD, right? And we used to think BC is, before Christ or whatever it was. So this is how I used to understand it as a school book. Today we are talking about Yugas, which we are talking about cycles of tens of thousands of years in some cases. And we're talking about Hindu philosophy. So we are not talking about the Christian calendar in that respect. Even in our Hindu calendar, we say somewhat, you have heard the date is mentioned, and we say that it is somewhat this or somewhat that. That is, each annum, each year has a particular number to that. So we say that the new year of the Hindu philosophy or the Hindu calendar begins on such and such date. And each part of India has a festival to announce that new year. We also talk about the financial year, which is a modern concept. That, till 31st March, the financial year closes, and 1st April, the new year starts. So there are many ways of measuring time and years and the progress that takes place in time. Time is ticking. The clock never stops. Of course, if the cell finishes, the clock will stop. But time never stops. So we cannot but only measure that. So in 2022, where is mankind? Where are we? We have technology, which is not perfect, as we know. Today also we experienced it. But technology is improving. Knowledge is enhancing. People are becoming more aware. Today we can stream this seminar or this webinar form. It can go to the US. And then I believe some people who are abroad are also joining this session. They are viewing the session. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we had not heard of anything like Zoom. We had not heard of these platforms. Technology is developing every year. Mankind's progress in the materialistic world is taking place. But is it true progress in the internal sense? Are we becoming better human beings? Are we becoming superior versions of the human beings who were there 50 years ago, 100 years ago? In many ways, we see children of today are brighter than the children of yesterday. We know that a child of 5, 6, 7 today is able to remember the cards which are going around. And there's so many cards and makes nowadays, but a child of 6, 7 or even younger will know that this is a Baleno or this is a Mercedes or this is which is the song Lamborghini, right? See, I have to catch your interest also. If I keep talking about Yugas, that Lamborghini doesn't come, then you are lost somewhere. Then you are thinking, kal ye exam hai, kal wo hai. So come back to the present. A child of today is more evolved than the child of yesterday in many ways. Are we as a race, a human race, evolving towards better versions of ourselves? If we look at it, people are taller. People are more healthy and fit, perhaps, than earlier times in some ways. But since we are eating pizzas in the cafe down there, so we are eating burgers also over there. So our health is also suffer. While we are improving in quality of life, we are sitting on chairs which were not possible 50 years ago. The kinds of chairs we used to have were straw chairs with some of the straw, that white kind of nylon straw we used to be breaking from here there. Even in government, we used to be sitting on such chairs. Not 50 years ago, I was not there in government, but about 10, 15 years ago, yes. So the point is, we are evolving and devolving at the same time. But what is the overall concept? P.K. Khosla Sahab mentioned Swami Shri Yukteswar. If you look at the Hindu scriptures, there is no clarity on the Yuga. Most common people say Kal Yuga. Whenever something wrong happens, they Kal Yuga. There is a lighter one again. War broke out in Ukraine. In Punjab, a young man went to his mother and said, Maji, wo ladai shuru ho gayi utthe Ukraine ch. The mother says, Or piyo sharaba. Tusi sharab pinde ho te utthe ladai shuru. What does it mean? She is saying it in a kind of, her own pain is coming out. She is not concerned with Ukraine. But if you look at the mass karma, now this is the crux of the matter. Why did the pandemic come? If you look at Hindu philosophy, it's the mass karma. What did mankind do since 2000 to 2020? What did we do? We found social media. We got into breakups. We got into WhatsApp, Instagram. For 20 years, from 2000 to 2020, we did not really cover ourselves in glory as a society. We became less patient. We became poor listeners. So I'm putting this in the context of each one of us. Pandemic came as a sort of warning. Where are you going? Where are you headed? For 2 years, we were in depression also. We were sitting before this screen. But what happened? Many things improved. Environment improved. Some relationships improved. People started talking to each other. Forcibly at times. So they started talking. Some things went bad and some things went good. It was a reminder that mass karma has to improve. So a reminder that we cannot take things for granted. Environment, family. Is Kali Yuga still on? No, according to me, according to Dr. Banerjee, according to Dr. Khosla. He will throw light on the subject in more detail. Dr. Bhatt will also. When so much of technology has come, so much of awareness has come, so much of knowledge has come. When the printing press came, then so many developments took place, the industrial revolution took place, now technology, internet, people who are more aware, enlightened compared to before, then it cannot be that we are downsliding into Kali Yuga further. It has to be a better way. At this point, with this introduction, which was a little more student-centric, Dr. Banerjee, I know that you are coming from a very superior level, but I wanted them to get engaged and start thinking as to what are we talking. With that introduction, I will request you now to give your preliminary thoughts for about 10 minutes, and then we'll request Dr. Bhatt to come in. And I believe you want to use your presentation now. Kindly play the presentation of Dr. Banerjee, and over to you to talk about your thoughts. Coming from a very superior level, but I wanted them to get engaged and start thinking as to.
I'm sorry, Abhijit. And if you have a, can I change the PPT? Yeah. So that I can go. It's my room.
Anji.
Hello. Thank you very much. I'm really honored to be here. Frankly, I thought there would be about 5-10 people in the audience. And I was convincing myself that my guru started with 7. Nanak started with 5. In this half there, thus there, we have so many young people interested in the subject. It's really good. Even as the doctor said just now, if you are here by compulsion, then it becomes my duty to get you interested in it. Last evening, I was talking with some students from the chemistry department doing PhD, and they were completely engrossed in the subject. It was their birthday. They forgot and spent about 2 hours with me in the evening. Coming to that, he said, "You are young, I'm actually young, I'm 20 years old. But with 60 years of experience, which you have. So I'm at the same age as what you are. Not in my body, in my mind and in my heart. I have 60 years of experience. And I would love you to pick on that. And that's what I have come here for. Before I start on the subject, it's a very, very, very vast subject. I wish I had more time than 10 minutes to speak to you on the subject. Couple of things we must recognize to understand what is Yugas. First is, our Shastra says, Nyaya Shastra says, there are 4 types of evidences which you must accept. Pratyaksh Praman, Anuman Praman elective project. Anuman Praman by example. And Adam Praman, what is written and said in the book. Normally we go by the hearsay what is written in the book. We forget to bring it down or bring our understanding in the perfection Praman and Anuman Praman. Anuman Praman is there is a smoke, there will be fire. We forget to find out the fire and bring that to the point of perfection Praman. Second thing what we must realize is we are made with energy, we are conglomerate of energy. We live on energy. We live with energy. Why I am saying with? At this moment, energy is all around you. You are living in a swimming pool of energy, or an ocean of energy. And last place, we again get split into energy. This point, please remember before we go and we try to conclude on what is the effect of Yugas on us. I'll go to the next slide. May I please repeat many please go to the next slide. इसीलिए पहले ट्राई कर लेते हैं थोड़ा सा जो कम हो जाता है your thought is you can do. See, I have shown इसके issue पर निकल एक सेकंड जब it will not be a job. Every time you do it from here. Why is it not good? No. इसको मजाक खत्म हो जाएगा बोलने का मजाक Let me go back. Okay, go back. लगाइए जरा इसको. Please give me the video. This is your experiment. I know exactly what to do. I see what is happening. मैं वहां पे जाके मैं बोलूं time is limited. Let me say, time is a concept. It defines the happening, relative happening of two things. If you remove one of the happenings, time becomes infinite. So the time of 10 minutes, it will be my talking about an ending. But this slide one, abhi kam kar raha hai.
He keeps saying next and he keeps
No, which one नहीं होगा. I'm accustomed to इसीलिए मैंने कहा मैं क्या हूँ. ये अब इसको वापस लाने के लिए बोलते हैं तो आगे ठीक है. I'm showing you the gears. These are all planetary gears. The name itself is planetary gears. It's wheel within the wheels which are there. And our universe is something like this. Wheels within the wheels, something moving clockwise, another moving anti-clockwise, one is moving the other, and they're all interdependent. This is our galaxy. You can see the sun is having his own trajectory. I hope it's visible on this. The sun's trajectory is visible. Moon is going around here. Earth is going around the sun. And everything which is going around has a trajectory or orbit or touch. Sun is going around another sun. Or there are two suns going around like this. And both of them are going across or along the center of the galaxy, which is called the galactic center. Now, that is the galaxy in which we are there, and it is moving around completely. Now, the position is changing. I wish I had a marker, I would show you. If position is changing, जो नीचे की तरफ है, वो घूमते 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 अंदर की तरफ आ जा रहा है. इसको ख्याल कीजिए. So our sun, when it is moving around in this position change. And we along with the sun is taking the position. And when we are near to a particular thing, like if you are near to a again thing, you feel hot. If you are away from it, you feel less. And that's how we have the winter and the summer. This is how it keeps the whole universe is moving. And mind you, that universe of our galaxy. This is good. This has to be. So, let me come back. And this universe is moving. Our universe is moving. Our galaxy. And mind you, that galaxy is moving again around some sun. But presently, let us concentrate on this movement that our galaxy is revolving. Then again, the galactic center. This has been called or named galactic center by us in the present day. But it is called Vishnu Navi, which you must have heard. This is the Vishnu Navi, a name given to the galactic center, in which the whole galaxy is moving, the sun is moving, the sun is moving, and we are all moving, Chandra is moving, everything is moving. At this time you are moving. You don't feel it, but you are actually moving, and moving at a very high speed. Now scriptures. Scriptures में बोला हुआ है, महाभारत में बोला हुआ है, कुरान में बोला हुआ है. ये हमारे धर्म में माना जाएगा कि कथन है, प्रमाणिक नहीं. और मैं अपने गुरु जी के ऊपर डिपेंड करता हूँ. इन्होंने जो कहा है, प्रमाण के सहित कहा है, और मैं इस पर ज्यादा मानता हूँ. हमारे कथन में है 4.32 billion years is one day of Brahma. Day of Brahma, the daytime. And then the equivalent night time. That makes it 4.32 multiplied by 2, 8.64. Then is 1 kalpa is a day, and the equal time is night of Brahma. Brahma, we have said, the whole the galaxy, the creator of the galaxy, he has given the name Brahma. A month is 36 days, and a year is 360 days. If you multiply 8.32 by 30, you will come to 59.2. And you multiply 8.32 by 360, you will come to 311.04. Anybody wants to do, you can do it on your computer, on your mobile, in a calculator. Try it. You just correct. Don't believe me. I never say believe me. Check me. I always say check me. And if you check, it will become a truth with you. You will never forget it. If you try to believe me, you will have to depend on your mind. So whatever I am saying, you keep on checking. You are welcome to check your mobile. Now we go to this is the explanation of the Kalpa, what has been said. I come directly here because of the time. When we are going down, we are divided into 12 zodiac of 30 degrees each and given them a name. The middle one as you start from, it's called Aries or Mesha. From there, you come down like this. Though you are seeing it moving, you will be moving clockwise like this. But when you see it from your side, it will be moving anti-clockwise. Everything which we normally see is, if you see it from the other point of view, it will be anti-clockwise. So the time is moving in the anti-clockwise, clockwise manner, but actually anti-clockwise. This is the diagram which you have already seen it. This has been given by Yugas. I believe in this diagram. He has said, when the sun comes to equinox, that is science, all of you agree on that? 21st of March and 21st of September, it comes on the equinox. He has said, when the equinox falls on the 1st of Aries, and that is happened when by English calendar 14. He was just saying when our calendar starts. Our religion calendar or Hindu calendar starts on 14th or sometime on 15th of April when it enters into Mesh. Guruji says when the sun at this moment, the sun is not in Aries. Sun is in Virgo. In its movement, it has come to Virgo. And when this whole thing moves, it will go back to Aries. Starting from Libra, going to Aries takes 12,000 years. You can calculate. This is scientific, you can calculate it. And again, from Aries coming down to Libra takes 12,000 years. Calculate. So the whole cycle takes 24,000 years. 12,000 years to come down, 12,000 years to go up. When you are at the nearest point, that is time you get the maximum energy. Remember, we are radiant energy. I'll go on to the next slide. And you can stop me anytime you want. Sun revolves around our great center, Vishnunavi, I showed it. So I said autumn equinox, not this equinox. Autumn equinox is in Virgo. Autumn equinox is 21st of September. Is in Virgo. And if your ulta point hota hai, that will be in Pisces. Movement is anti-clockwise. Next autumn equinox will move into Leo. Will go to Leo. And then Earth enters into, slowly it will keep on moving, and in 2,000 years it will go to the base when that autumn equinox will take place. At the moment, the spring equinox is there in the month of March, April. Equinox has got 21st. Yet time period shift हुआ है ना? It should have been on 21st of March. 14 को मूव कर दिया है. वैसे ही धीरे धीरे मूव करते करते वो पहुंचेगा 21st September को. It will be in Mesh. That is the nearest point. Again a calculation. वो जो galactic movement हो रहा है, it will be nearest to the galactic center. Last autumn equinox जो हुआ था. By calculation, this is mathematics. You can go into it. You can come to me and sit down and we'll calculate. Nothing to be believed that Mr. Banerjee is saying it. Or you think that he's saying it. My guru has never said, believe me. Understand me? Go and check it. That is the beauty of Yugas. And his disciple, Yogananda, they always say this, check. The last autumn equinox, the starting point was 11,500 BC. This is the sloka from Manusmriti. Manusangita, he has taken it from there, and we can go into this again. We can find out this in the books, and we find that 4,000 plus 4,000 years, 4,800 years is a Satya Yuga, and it's go to the next slide. It's better to do that. Now, duration of the yugas, I'm calculating. Satya Yuga is 400 plus 4,000 plus 400. Now, 400 is the Sunday time, the evening time. When you see our sun going down or getting up, there is the Sunday time. The night going away, the day coming in, and as the day coming in, night fades. It's for 48 minutes it takes. That's called the Sunday time. Then the day starts. Again, don't believe me. We can sit down and I can calculate it for you. It is 400 years, the Sunday time, when you pass from one to the other in Satya Yuga. Treta Yuga has a Sunday time of 300 and on the ending 300, 3,000 years is the time. Dwapar Yuga is 2,400, 2,200 plus 200, 2,400, and Kali Yuga is 1,100 and 100. The Sunday time is 1/10 of the whole time. And when you add this, all this time, 4,800, 3,600, 2,400, and 1,200 will make 12,000. Somebody is adding, you'll find this to be correct. And this is one cycle of daytime. Then you go into the reverse cycle of the night time. So 1 day of Brahma is 12,000 plus 12,000. Whole galactic movement. One galactic movement takes 24,000. After the Jaldi it's 24,000 years it takes. And in this process of movement, sometimes we are near the energy, sometimes we are away from the energy. In the Kali Yuga, we are maximum away from the energy. And when we are away from the energy, all the negative thoughts come. Very simple. If I am not physically fit, my energy is less, I will find out an easier way to pull that book in front of me. But if I'm energetic like you, I'll become like this. Yes or no? This is fact. So we are making this energy, we live on energy. And here it is, if that energy factor is less on us, though you don't find it being work according. What are we? We are nothing else but our thoughts. And what are thoughts? They are inflicted by the energy. All that said in this whole book, in the Holy Science, our thoughts are affected by energy. Just like I want to pull the glass or I pull the book, it's affected by my energy. If I pull the energy, I pick up like this. If I'm not, I try to pull it down, pull it back to me with my stick. That's what we do. So same thing, remember this, that this energy is very important. This calculation shows 11,500 BCE, the Common Era, add 12,000 years to it, one circle. You will come to 400 CE, the Common Era or AD, the midpoint. Add 1,200 years of ascending Kali. 200 साल, 100, 1000 और 112 को उसमें ऐड करते हैं तो हम पहुंचते हैं 1699. That is 1700 Common Era. Kali has ended. It's by calculation, by mathematics, not because it is written here. We can sit down, we can calculate it in front. I'm repeating it. Don't believe me. I never say believe me. I say check. Add 200 years, now the Dwapar has ended. According to this, in 1700, Dwapar has ended. What has started? The Sandhi period of Dwapar, 200. So, 1900, the Sandhi period ends, and actual Dwapar has started. The Dwapar is now 1900 to 2022 is 322 years. So what I would say is we are in 122 years into Dwapar. But it is 322 years of Dwapar. Yet, absolutely in Dwapar, not even Sandhi Dwapar, for last 122 years. And what happens because of this, I will tell you in a minute. Thus, today is 6th May, 322 Dwapar. Right? By calculation, by mathematical calculation. Next slide. See what happens. We are energy, we are affected by energy. I have said negative energy affects us negatively. Positive energy affects us positively. You must have experienced it. When two friends are sitting down and talking positive, you feel enlightened, you feel encouraged, the energy increases. And if some friends are sitting down and having drugs and whiskey and things like that, which is also common in colleges, in my time also, there's nothing wrong in it, it will have a negative effect. The mind goes in a negative position. And if you are in the positive discussion, when you are discussing some philosophy of physics, chemistry, or etc., you feel you have a different aura of energy. Same thing happens here. Why should it not happen? Why should it not happen? So you see the green line, in Satya Yuga, the positivity is more, because the energy is more, and it keeps on going down in the country. So the ego, the astavikal, the biggest of that is ego and desire. काम क्रोध लोभ मोह जो बोलते हैं, ये बढ़ जाता है. कामनाएं बढ़ जाती है. कामनाएं खराब नहीं है पर से, पर गलत कामनाएं आने लगी. चल यार जाके जरा बिस्किट देते हैं. हम कभी नहीं बोलते हुए चल यार जाके जरा मंदिर में बैठते को कम लोग बोलते. ठीक है ना, चल यार मंदिर के सामने से घूम के आ जाए, नहीं करते. तो और भी बोलने को तैयार. हमने क्या किया है अपनी जवानी में, आपके देश से टाइम में बोले if I am permitted, then understand is better. Don't be the language. Yes. Well, I'm finishing. Yes, I'm finishing. So you understand how the negative thought affects us. And that negative thought takes us towards the material thing, and that takes us to destruction. Sarva karma karan, or sarva dukha karan, as been said by Patanjali, is karma. Sarva karma karan vasana, and sarva vasana karan, your chitta ya chinta ya thought. बिना थॉट के आपकी वासना नहीं आएगी, बिना वासना के आप काम नहीं करोगे. आपकी वासना यदि शुद्ध है तो आपका कर्म शुद्ध होगा. इन्होंने कहा ना, एक साथ के कार्मिक इफेक्ट, इस सबके चिंताएं यदि हमारे ठीक होने लगे, सब रूप में वही समाज जो होना हो जाता है. गली में जो है सबको अपना ईगो सबसे बड़ा लगता है, एंड मटीरियल परस्यूट सबसे बड़ा हो जाता है. 1 लाख रुपए का बेड आपको अच्छी नींद नहीं देता है. अच्छी नींद आपको अच्छी नींद देता है. और आप देखो आज के दिन में लोग लाखों का खरीद रहे, आराम से सोएंगे नहीं है, बहुत चिंता नहीं है. और आपके गली में क्या होता है, ये लाल वाला लाइट आपके नेगेटिव. And if the kids are negative, this is the difference between Kali and Satya. And why it happens? Because when they are near to the energy, we don't see that energy, but that energy impinges on us. Normally, दिन के टाइम में हम गलत काम कम करते हैं, रात को हम गलत काम ज्यादा करते हैं. ये भी सत्य है, एक्सपीरियंस है. अब रात गली का है, रात कली का होगा ज्यादा. अब जो देख रहे हैं धन का उत्थान होने लगा. Even young people like you, I was surprised yesterday. They got interested in what is God. And though they were there on just one point, what is God? We just change where they are, please. I'm not telling you. ये तो मेरे से भी शुरू है. Thus today is 6th May. That's how I'll conclude. Thus today is 6th May, 3:22 hours. शो खत्म हो जाता है. It takes time. नमस्ते भैया. अब इतने देर में यदि कोई नमस्ते करे, नमस्ते करने का मजा ही नहीं.
A very enlightening exposition by Dr. Banerjee. In fact, you see the science behind it, because we are in a university which is a research-based university. We don't take things at face value. He said it many a time. Don't just believe what I'm saying. Investigate for yourself, find out for yourself, and learn whatever the facts are. He's calculating based on scientific methodologies. I want to bring in Professor Bhatt here, and Bhatt Saab is in Coimbatore, I believe, in Amrita University. I know that you've been waiting patiently for some time, and thank you for joining. Thank you for your presence, and it's a wonderful concept that we are able to bring in your thoughts here. So for the next 8 to 10 minutes, I'll request you to speak on the subject as you have heard the preliminary thoughts. Give your own thoughts, please. And then hopefully we'll get into more of an interaction after that. Over to you.
Namaste all. I hope you are able to hear me.
Welcome, Mr.
So I'm located in Karnataka, Mysore. We have different campuses. Coimbatore is the headquarters. So thank you for the opportunity. It's a wonderful discussion. I enjoyed the introduction as well as Banerjee sir's explanation. It's a wonderful. Maybe here I will be the Purva Paksha. I don't know that. Purva Paksha or Siddhanta, because Banerjee sir already told that we are having the freedom to discuss. This is the platform for the discussion. So according to the Yukti Maharaj ji, or the whatever you have explained, I totally understand and I have the respect towards that, because it is told Rishinam Punaradhyanam Vachamartho Nudavati. It means whatever rishis are telling, that is more than calculation. So whatever we do the calculation, there might be the mistakes, but what rishis are telling, they're definitely that is beyond calculation. With the experience, with the anubhuti pramana, they are explaining. I respect that. So let me start my talk with the small invocation. Ayurnashyati pashyatam pratidinam yati kshanam yauvanam pratyayanti gatah punarna divasaha kalo jagad bhakshakaha lakshmi toya taranga banga chapala vidyuchalam jivitam tasman mam sharanagatam karunaya tvam raksha rakshadhuna. So this is the invocation from Shankaracharya. So today Shankara Jayanti, as all of us know. So because of that, I'm starting with this particular invocation. Even it talks about the Kalo Jagad Bhakshakaha. So Kala is the consumer of the world. Kala is consumer of the life. So there's a reason from this invocation I'm starting. So in our university, we have a department where we teach cultural education as spirituality. So maybe 2 years back, I was speaking to my students and I was explaining about the Kala, time and all. Even we were discussing about the Yuga Dharma, not a job and we want to settle, and we want to have the food, and we want to enjoy. That's all. So why we need to discuss about all this subjects? What's the use of this? So if we look at our Shastras, they give the wonderful discussion techniques. So that is called as Adhikarana Panchaka. So there they say that we need to have the particular subject. Today we have the particular subject, that is Yuga. And the second thing is doubt, the samshaya in that subject. So whether it is Kali Yuga or the Dwapara Yuga or Treta Yuga or Satya Yuga, whatever. So we have the doubt in this. So the third point is Purva Paksha and Siddhanta. There should be the two counterparts or two parties where we will discuss. And finally, we should get the Sangati. Sangati means the output of the discussion. So today we are discussing about the Yuga and present Yuga, especially about the present Yuga. Actually, I have prepared the PPT, but later I thought that we called this as a panel discussion. If I speak about the points which Sir has mentioned, if I talk about that, it would be more relevant. That's the reason I am not taking the PPT, just I'm trying to explain according to my knowledge. To be honest, I'm not an astrologer. I studied the Mimamsa philosophy and Dharma Shastra. From that point, by using little bit astrological calculation, I will try to explain about the today's concept. So the first of all, we have the different types of kala. According to the Nyaya philosophy, as Sir told, Sir rightly mentioned about the Nyaya philosophical aspects about the pramanas and all. In the Nyaya philosophy, kala has been defined as the Vibhu Nityaha Atitadi Vyavahara Hetu Kalaha such a Vibhu Nityaha. So kala is that where we are using for the communication, past, present, future, and all other things. But kala doesn't has all these things. It is stable and it is not transitory. That's how the scripture says. There are a lot of other discussions. So in the Mimamsa philosophy, we say that kala is anupadeya. Anupadeya means where human effort will not be affecting the subject. So that is called as anupadeya. We cannot change the time. So we can change the time as per our comfortability. For example, in US or in Europe, they change the time. Why they change the time? Because of the weather. So they want to work in the different time. That's the reason they change. But whatever we change, time will not change. As per our idea, as per our needs, we change the time. But kala will not change according to the Mimamsa philosophy. Because we discuss more about the kala to perform the different rituals. So when rituals should be performed, how it should be performed. For that reason, we discuss more about the kala. So now, according to the Surya Siddhanta, why we have 4 yugas? Who made it? I rightly told that kala doesn't have any kind of meter. We have created the meter for the kala to measure, which is convenient for us. So it is rightly mentioned in the Surya Siddhanta also. So he clearly mentions that Kritadinam Yavastheyam Dharma Pada Vyavasthaya. So I was not able to hear properly when Banerjee sir was explaining. There was the internet issue, I think. 12,000 years of Divyamana. It is clearly mentioned in the Surya Siddhanta. 12,000 years of Divyamana. Divyamana means it is God's time. It is not human. So that is called as one Mahayuga, means Chaturyugi. So Krita, Treta, Dwapara and Kali Yuga all together, it is 12,000 years of the Divyamana, not the Purushamana or the Manushyamana. So if I tell about the time system according to the Siddhanta Shiromani, which is the astrological the text, 8 minutes is equal to 1 kasta. The kasta is the astrological calculation, and 30 kasta is equal to 1 kala, and it is also again astrological terminology. Then I will come to the modern. 2 ghati is 1 muhurta, and 60 ghati is 24 hours. So now I'm talking about time calculation. That is 1 day. 15 days is equal to 1 paksha. All of you might heard that we have 2 pakshas in the lunar calculation system. One is called as Krishna paksha, another one is called as Shukla paksha. So according to the Dharma Shastra, Krishna paksha is the night time of the Pitrus. Pitrus means who are all not having the body, who left the body, who are separated from the body, yet to get the new birth or the rebirth. So 15 days is equal to the half a day for the Pitrus, and 1 masa means 1 month is equal to 1 day of the human life. If this calculation goes like that, it has like a 2-3 pages. I don't want to explain this. If you go in this way, 12,000 divyamana you have to calculate in the manushyamana, because we are calculating with the human. So 12,000 into 360 days, I mean 360, then you will get the entire Chatur Yugas, the span of time. That is 43 lakh, that is 43 lakh, 43 lakh 20,000 years all together. So here what they have done later, because of the Dharma Shastra, Dharma Pada Vyavasthaya, why we need Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga, who created these are the different time system. Why we need? Because Anusthana, to do the Anusthana. So we, for example, if we go to the farmers, and farmers, they know that when they have to cultivate, in the rainy season they want to cultivate, and they need to know the time system. So similarly, to follow the dharma, we need the proper time system. Whatever calculation we do, finally, if it is not coming to the anusthana, then that calculation is no use. So that is the reason in the Dharma Shastra, it is clearly told that dharma will stand with the dharma will stand with the 4 fates in the Krita Yuga, in the Treta Yuga, 3 fates, and in the Dwapara Yuga, 2 fates, and in the Kali Yuga, 1 fate. So it means only dharma will be very less in the Kali Yuga. In the Dwapara Yuga, little more will be there, because 2 part of dharma is there. In the Treta Yuga, in the Satya Yuga, in the Krita Yuga, little more dharma will be able to see. So if we look at the Puranas, so I want to mention here the Anubhuti Pramana, which has been explained by Prabhakara Mishra. So there are different Pramanas we have, as Sir has mentioned, Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, Upamana Pramana, Shabda Pramana. If you go even more, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi and Anubhuti. Different Pramanas we have. So if we look at the Anubhuti Pramana, the experience. So if you, as Sir has mentioned, the Manusmriti. In the Manusmriti, Manu says that Kritetu anya dharma tretayam dwapare pare kalautu anya dharma yuga rupanusarataha. The dharma changes depending upon the yugas. In each yuga, we will be able to see different types of dharma and the nature of the people. So let us try to take the reference from the Padma Purana. So in the Padma Purana, there is the chapter called Kriyasara, which is 25th chapter. In that, all the Yugas, Lakshanas has been explained. So in that, if we look at the Kali Yuga's nature as well as the Dharma, we'll be able to see here. Kalau Yuge cha Viprendra Sarvapapaika Mandire. So what happens in the Kali Yuga? As Sir has mentioned in the introduction, technology-wise, definitely there is the progress and we are going forward, there is no doubt. But if you look at the people lifestyle, so the father and son, they want to be separated. And the husband and wife, they don't want to continue the relationship. And if you see the life, so life is getting very bad. But if you see the lifestyle, definitely the better lifestyle is there. There is no doubt. So I do the spiritual counseling for the people who are getting separated and all. If we look at the people, so why they are getting the separation? What is the reason? We'll be able to see the nature of the mind of the people. So that nature is explained in the Padma Purana as well as in the Parashara Purana. I mean Parashara Smriti. As all of you know, Kritetu Manava Dharma Tretayam Gautama Smritaha Dwapare Shankalikitaha Kalau Parashara Smritaha. So Manu only says this when what dharma should be followed. And in the Kali Krita Yuga, Manu, whatever he explains, that is applicable. But in the Treta and Dwapara, it is not maybe applicable. Some part of the dharma might be not applicable. When it comes to the Kali Yuga, the Parashara's explanation looks like a very appropriate. If I quote from the Parashara Smriti, he says, Sidanti Chagnihotrani Guru Puja Vinashyati Kumaryascha Prasuyante Tasmin Kaliyuge Sada. So this is happening now. By this Anubhuti Pramana, we'll be able to see this is, we'll be able to understand that this is Kali Yuga. So how? So Sidanti Chagnihotrani, the concept of Agnihotra will not be there. I don't know how many people are performing the Agnihotra in entire country. As I know, in Karnataka, 7 members are performing the Agnihotra in the proper system. Sidanti Chagnihotrani. Guru Puja Vinashyati. There is no concept of Guru and student. It is there in some places maybe, but most of the places people are not following that. Who is Guru? Why we have to follow the Guru Parampara? That concept is vanishing. And Kumaryascha Prasuyante. To get the progeny, we need not get married. Living together concept is enough. You'll be able to see this concept in the world. So if you look at from this nature of the mind of the people, it looks like a Kali Yuga. And again, from the last reference from the Surya Siddhanta, I will conclude my talk because later we can start the discussion, because as Sir has mentioned, this is debatable subject. There are different opinions and different references. I totally agree with that. So that's the reason I will take one reference from the Surya Siddhanta, then I will conclude the my talk. Shanmanunantu sampidya kalam tatsandibhis saha kalpadi sandina sardam vaivasvata manos tatha Yuganam Trighanam Yatam Tatha Krita Yuganvidam Projya Srishte Tatah Kalam Purvoktam Divya Sankhya Suryabda Sankhya Jneya Kritasyante Gata Ami. So here what he says, so when the Dwapara Yuga got over, the last day of the Dwapara Yuga considered as a Shukravasara, the Friday. In the astrology, by using the technique of the calculation, they can, there is the concept called the Bhagana calculation. When they do the calculation with the Bhagana, they can clearly say that what is today. According to the Bagana calculation, so the Aharganasya Udaharanam. So according to the Bagana calculation, 28th January 2021, which is Thursday. So up to that, because Friday to Thursday I'm calculating, and I'm telling that according to the Bagana calculation, 28th January and 2021 Thursday, up to that date, 5,121 years of Kali Yuga got over. So according to the Surya Siddhanta, I am telling. And one more thing, more than calculations and the references with the Anubhuti, what we are experiencing, definitely technology wise, we are growing, there is no doubt. But personal life is losing the quality. We'll be able to see that, because as I mentioned from the Parashara Smriti, he says that Agnihotra, if you want to do the Agnihotra, maybe it will be becoming kind of the world record. That person is doing the Agnihotra. So let us go and see. In the Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and all, it was common. So everybody was performing this. Nobody was having the doubt about these are the Yugas. And moreover, in the Shrauta Yajnas, they explain what exactly, I mean, there is the Shruti Parampara. So I do the Sandhya Vandana every day. I have to talk about the Kala when I am doing that. So this is from the Shruti Parampara. Every day I have to change the time and all when I do the Sandhya Vandanam. There is the concept called Mahasankalpa, which starts from the galaxy and which ends with the Muhurta of that day. In that we'll be able to get the bigger and better calculation. With this, I will conclude my the opinions. But as sir mentioned, this is for the discussion, and definitely vichara. When we say that vichara, pramanena vastu parikshanam vichara, we say the investigation with the proper proof, that is called as vichara. So from my side, whatever proofs are there, just I have put in front of you, and I have the respect to the sages, what they say. So if it is told by the great sages, according to the Bhavabhuti, what he says, Rushinam Punaradhyanam Vachamartho Nudavati, whatever calculation we do, still what Rishis are telling, even though calculation is wrong, that time will come. So that's how even Bhavabhuti says. With all these references, I conclude my talk. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatt, for that exposition. I think we are two very deep thinking scholars in discussion today, and Dr. Bhatt's points have to be taken seriously, and he gave great examples. While he says that on the one hand we are progressing in our personal lives, perhaps we are digressing and even devolving. So the overall summary which he has given is very clear and very good views. What we are going to do is to enter into a phase of short interaction. You all know that a cultural program is also coming after this. But before that, if you have any questions after I ask a couple of questions to both the panelists, I would request you to ask questions also based on the discussion. So Dr. Banerjee, without now going into longer discussion, we'll try and take 2-3 questions. So can I ask you one based on what you said? And I'll request you to take about 2 minutes in the answer, and so that we can cover more topics. So the presentation was extremely interesting and detailed, and you also spoke of karma there. Is it possible that there are people, and I know the fact, but I would like to hear it from you because Yukteswarji's already detailed it, Paramahansa Yogananda talks about it. Are there people in this era who perhaps do not belong to this era, whose karma is perhaps superior enough that they exemplify the traits of Satyuga in this very initial phase of Dwapara Yuga and maybe of Treta Yuga? And maybe even there are people who are still exemplifying the traits of Kali Yuga. So would you like to lay emphasis on the 4 yugas and the traits existing at the same time?
This is a wonderful question. I bet I wish this question would be given in about an hour will be given to answer this question. My fourth book is exactly on this subject. Path to peace, tranquility, and bliss. If those people who are here, every one of us is looking for peace. We are looking for peace in material. Material doesn't give you peace. Peace, something else gives you peace. And that is Satya Yoga. Forget about all the 12,000 years. Think about your 80 years of your life. Okay, even 100 we get, fair enough. In this 100, fundamentally, we can see the four phases. 25 years Satya Yoga, 25 years we are in Treta Yuga, 25 years we are in the Dwapar Yuga. I am in that period, fighting the pain of Mahabharata. This is happening at home, in the world, and in me. The biggest Mahabharata is inside me. I know things are going wrong, but I can't create it. I can't correct it. I'm going through that. Each one of us feels it. And the last 25 years is khatam ho gaya. Right now, his question is, yes, there are people in journey. Because of their karma, they have come here. And that karma is your desire. You come back with your desire. The only thing that goes with me when I step into the fire, or my body steps into the fire or grave, is my desire and the genetic knowledge of whatever I have done during this life. My soul goes, and soul has got this thing impinged on it. And I come back to improve on my experience. I'm convinced I will come back. When, I don't know, in the cycle of 12,000 years. I will come back because of my desire. I want to improve. I want to do this thing, this thing, this thing. Every one of us. So there are people in this life who are in various stages of the yugas. I agree with that, and I confirm it.
Very well said, very well explained, and that's absolutely what I wished to hear, and you absolutely said it. So we can be in a superior yuga in this yuga because of our internal victories. These internal victories matter. Yoga, meditation, good karma, helping others. They will take us to a superior yuga, even if the yuga is lower. We have to understand that everybody's journey is personal. Whether it is 2022 or what, we are still, our thoughts may be of 1920 because we live in the past. Superstitions. There are societal things where mothers-in-law, daughters-in-law, fathers-in-law, whatever, they are still thinking of past tendencies. There are others who are still already living in the 2020, in the 22nd century. In some good ways, in some bad ways. So we have to fight our own journey. That is the key. But Dr. Bhatt, I want to bring you in this, because we are talking of yugas, of course. We have already given the hypothesis that will be recorded. It has already been noted. What I would like to ask you, since you are also counseling families, you are counseling people who are perhaps under stress. These young students who are here of your university, of Shoolini University, of other universities in India, through this medium, I would like you to give them the advice as to how they should look at the bigger picture, the bigger picture of the world, the bigger picture of the universe, in the sense that they are living in a particular era, the bigger picture of life itself. It's a little philosophical, but I think you can understand it and you will be able to give them the right advice as to how they should approach their own lives.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for beautiful question. And so one point I want to add to the previous comment, what sir has mentioned, then I will give the answer. Raja Kalasya Karanam. There's a beautiful say in the Ramayana. Even though Ramayana happened in the maybe Krita Yuga, but because of the Dasharatha's ruling, he has brought the Satya Yuga. That's how the Ramayana says. Even if you look at the Mahabharata, there is the reference what Krishna says to the Bhishma in the discussion of the Bhishma and Krishna. There also it comes that the yuga can be changed by the Raja Kalasya Karanam. So Raja, the king, can change the time. So for our life, we are only the kings, nobody else. Nobody is ruling our life. So we need to create what yuga we want to create for our life. So the outside what yuga is happening, that is different, that is debatable, that is totally different. So for us, what yuga we need? Okay, we need Kali Dharma or Dwapara Dharma or Krita Dharma or Satya Dharma. What we need? So that we need to know. Okay, then one question we will get, we want to grow the saffron. So that is very valuable. So, but we don't have the good weather, we might think. So we want to create the Krita Yuga for us, but the weather or the atmosphere or surrounding is not good. That's how we might think sometime. So I want to follow the dharma of the Satya Yuga, but world is not letting me to follow this. But the beautiful tradition and our country, which is called as Karma Bhumi. So we might not have the lot of the materialistic pleasure here, but we have the kind of the spirit. Every successful person has the kind of this spiritual background. You can take any people in this country. So if they are having kind of spiritual spark, definitely they will be successful and peaceful. So what we need to do, we need to add little bit spirituality to our life. That is very important to get the success in our life. I want to give a small example for this. So in 2014, I was there in the Oslo, Norway. And there was the panel discussion about the concept of karma. Lot of psychologists, the modern psychologists, they were not agree with this concept of the karma. So discussion went on, and after completion of the discussion, they were asked me that with your all the techniques, will you be able to change the life of the people? That's how they are asked. Definitely it is possible, I told. So then what happened? They have taken me to the rehabilitation center where more than 25 drug addicts were struggling from 3 years. And they gave the challenge to me that with your techniques, with your spirituality or with your practices, will you be able to change these people? From 3 years, they are under medication. They are not able to come out from this. So I told that it is possible if they come to my motherland, my Karma Bhumi, because my Karma Bhumi has that fragrance. Being there itself, they will be able to get the rehabilitation. Trust me, 2014, December 15, 25 members all the way from Norway, they came to my village, which is wilderness. We don't have any facility to them. So one small hut we have provided. They have luxury life there. You know that that is rich country. They have all the facilities. And they stayed. And we made them to practice yoga. And we made them practice spiritual practices, Bhagavad Gita discourses, all these things we did. And I asked them to do the Karma Yoga. We are having the very old temple in our village. They have rebuilt that temple by using their own effort. And finally, you believe or not, within 34 days, 18 members were rehabilitated. It was the successful event, and it is published in all the international news channels and all. Later, if you want, I will share that. And these are the people, they are telling that India is our motherland because we got the rebirth on this land. So we got the birth in this land. We have a lot of gurus and we have a lot of techniques. If we implement a small thing in our life, that brings success. The young generation people just need to know about our strength. Like a Hanuman was not knowing the strength of himself. So later, when he knows, he jumped to the Lanka. In the same way, we need to know the strength of our spirit. If we know the strength of our spirit, then definitely we'll be successful and our life will be peaceful. We'll be able to build a strong nation.
That was a wonderful, wonderful answer. I must say that both the scholars have brought in a wonderful point about the personalization of whatever we are talking about. The experiment of Norway, Oslo, and coming to India was also very valuable. And I would like to say that I met somebody from Poland, and he was actually a renunciate. That means he has renounced the word, become a monastic or monk. And he says all of those people who are born in India had good karma, according to him. We think we are born in India, we are, what is India? This is some of us. But he says, and jokingly he said to me, he says, if you have good karma, you are born in India. If you have bad karma, you are born in Poland. Which is, of course, he's joking at his own country. But the point is, we have to consider ourselves fortunate that at least in India, we see spirituality in some way or the other. Our mother, father have, mother especially has been pious ladies all throughout since we were little, we see her praying. We understand the value of prayer. In my motivational sessions, when I tell the audience, please sit for 30 seconds and close your eyes and meditate, they all know what to do. Sometimes in Western audience, they may be little, the spine is not straight or they are slouching like this. But here we know what. We are fortunate to have it. Now, I don't want to get too many, although Dr. Banerjee has a comment, but I want you to raise your hands now because my questions may be from a different perspective. I would like you to ask 2 questions at least. Yes, we have one there. And anyone else who wants to raise? You want to ask? Okay. Yes or no? Yes, okay. Because in South India, we do this, it could be yes or could be no. But you are from which Assam? So Assam mein to aise hona chahiye. Dr. Banerjee, 1 minute you want to add something?
Yeah. I want to comment on the drugs. I was completely addicted to a drug, which is ego and running after material. I would get out of one plate, get into another plate. This was my life. But all the time I was feeling I need something else. I met Krishnananda ji. And today, mind you, I had residency, permanent residency of 4 countries. India was my 5th. I have given up everything, not renunciated. All of those are given away to the children. If you can keep it, fine. If you can't keep it, fine. I have come down to pajama kurta. And I am happy. Krishnananda ji, my guru through Krishnananda ji, has changed my life completely. I'm in Satyuga. It's possible.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let me explain. So, Dr. Banerjee is an alumnus of IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay. His classmate and friend is now a Swamiji of Yogananda Satsang, Swami Krishnananda, who is talking. Classmate, right? IIT Bombay. Became a monk. He comes here to Shoolini once a year or once in 2 years. He will come, I think. Follower of Yogananda ji and Vikteshwari. He's thanking him and thanking the Guru. Your question, please. You can tell your name and question.
Yeah, my name is Shanmoy Mukhopadhyay. I'm from the oldest student over here. I'm a PhD scholar under Dr. Subbu. I've retired from my executive job long time back and got into yoga. My question was actually on the yoga, calculation of the yogas. The common idea was this 100 years of Brahma's cycle is equal to like some 3.22 trillion years of human cycle. And but your presumption or your calculation of 24,000 years, it seems to be, is it like one day of Brahma? So what my proposition is, the larger cycle is the 4 yogas. And in the smaller cycles, like in the daily cycle, is yours the daily cycle of the yogas, which is accounting to like 24,000
Yes, it's 12,000 and 12,000. 12,000 hours become 12,000 years by day's calculation.
Yeah, but what about
Our day is 12 hours and 12 hours,
right?
right? That on a larger scale becomes 24,000 Earth year to complete one cycle. The moon completes it in 28 days. Earth completes it in 360 days. This galactic movement completes in 24,000, one revolution. And that one revolution around itself is a day. It has a sun against which it's moving around. Right? And that is, we are revolving in 24 hours like this. That becomes 24,000. When you consider the whole universe moving, it's a very, 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 very unimaginable diameter which is moving around.
For further discussion, we can during tea break.
You can ask me, it is very interesting.
You'll need 2 hours within. So please come. Yes. Your name?
Vishal. So my question is basically from Rigved. So Rigved chapter 10, Canto 129, slope number 6 to 7 says like no one knows how and from where the entire creation originated, because that mystery was also originated by the scholars later, and the creator of this universe, and he the first origin of this creation, whether he formed it or all or did not form it, where eyes controls this world in highest heaven, he barely knows it, or perhaps he not. So my question is, does he actually knows it who created him, or is he still finding who created him?
Dr. Bhatt, would you like to take that? Did you hear the question? I shall give to you also. Unmute yourself, please, Dr. Bhatt. You can repeat the last point.
Can you repeat the question because there was the disturbance again?
Yeah. Just listen again.
Okay. So my question goes like, since in Rigved it says like.
No, we don't read that, but
I got it.
The last part of the question.
Yeah. So he knows it, or perhaps he doesn't knows it, that he created him, or he is still finding that he's been created by someone, or he created himself.
So again, sir, can you repeat the question because
Dr. Ganeji, take this one. I'll give you the next one, Dr. Bhatt. You go ahead, Dr. Bhatt. You have to go.
No, it's okay. Oh, I'm so engrossed. This is Dhyan. This is exactly what Dhyan is. It's not sitting eyes closed for hours. I got so engrossed in your question, and my mind is working, completely focused, that I forgot that the mind is here.
My fault, I was also giving you this earlier.
You are also involved. If the discussion is good, people will get involved. This question is supreme question, the ultimate question. There is no answer to this question. But theological people, this book gives the answer in the first chapter to your question. All of you are welcome. If you have time, at 4 o'clock you can come. I will discuss this first chapter with you. To answer you now in front of everybody, I'll read from him. Nityam Purnam Anadi Anantam Brahma Paramam Tata Eva Ekmeva Advaitam Saka. This is the truth. He is not the truth. This is the truth. This is the interpretation of this. Is Nityam Purnam is always full. Anadi Anantam जिसका आदि भी नहीं है, अंत भी नहीं है. Brahma Param is not Param Brahma. Param Brahma is like chief minister. Many ministers का chief है Param Brahma. But Brahma Param is the absolute. Is the absolute. Then what it says? Tad eva ekam advaityam. Ek advaityam. एक आम का पेड़ नहीं है बगीचे में. एक ही पेड़ है, उसका दूसरा होता ही नहीं. This is the subject. And according to my understanding, what all I have read, he's talking about energy. He talks later on about energy. Energy is the creator. We are conglomerate of energy. When two cells get together, chemistry, and start passing the current, the energy, the pulsation starts. And this is life.
In fact, if you look at it, what Dr. Banerjee said is absolutely the answer. But to just put it a little more clearly to what you said, if you read the same book, Holy Science, which I believe some students are going to get today, he explains then how the awareness comes. We're talking about awareness. And that is the journey of self-realization. So that awareness is what we are looking for. Even reading a book doesn't give you that awareness. It is the experience which gives you the awareness. So we don't, at least I don't know all these things. I have no idea, so we'll go ahead. But we don't have, Subodhji has one last question. We won't have time after that for any, but we will request you to spend time with Dr. Banerjee outside later if you have more questions. And Dr. Bhatt is available. The sound is not very clear, but Dr. Bhatt, I will give you your email ID or through Prerna, we will contact you with the questions that the students may have later. Subodhji.
Dr. Banerjee, sir, you mentioned in your presentation currently 322nd year of going from Bhagavad Gita, and from 11,501, the Kali Yuga was established. So I want to know on which behalf we can say the 11,501, the Kali Yuga was established.
Satyuga. Again, it's a very interesting question again. This is calculation and this is the absolute. At that moment, sun on the 21st of September, that is the autumn equinox, was in Mesha 1. At the moment it happens when sun is in Kanya, not Kanya. I forget now this. Yeah, it's in Kanya, in Virgo. It is in Virgo, sorry. So, when the sun at the time of the equinox, autumn equinox, 21st September is in Kanya. When it will come to Mesha Rasi in its revolution, and we are all going with that, at that time the Satyuga, first day of Satyuga starts. This is calculable. So that's why I'm saying that he is going, there are saints have said in Puranas, in Shastras and everything. He is also depending on that and taking it. And then he is calculating on an absolute, which our logical mind can calculate on that. So from there, it is 12,000 years divided into 3, depending upon what type of attitude we have. And it goes. Now, time does not make the people make the time. I'm answering his question again in a different language. If you have here, most of the people feeling positive energy in the positive condition, it is Satyuga. If army people are sitting down here and discussing the next move to attack Bangladesh or this, you are in either Cheta or Kalpa. There is no fight. इसलिए मंदिर में जाते हैं, you have a different feeling. आप ध्यान घर में जाते हैं, you have a different feeling. आप लेक्चर देने आते हैं, कोई टीचर फाइंड कर लेता है, कोई टीचर नहीं कर पाता.
Thank you. That was wonderfully well said. I think we have most of the answers. Some answers will never be found logically, as he says. And what Dr. Bhatt says, I totally like that also, same thought by Dr. Banerjee. There are many things which are beyond logic. Intuition is something else. Intuition, experience that and find out for yourself the truth. Over to Dr. Prerna. That concludes the discussion and we'll have a conclusion.
So very nice. I wish you had a 4-hour session. People will get bored with I'm bored. He said, how many of you are bored? I'm raising my hand with you.
Thank you so very much, sir, for your contribution, for the panel discussion. Thank you, Bhatt, sir, for your views. It was really a very wonderful discussion. Thank you, Vivek, sir, for sharing it. Thank you everyone. Now, there will be just 15 more minutes we will take of yours. There will be an cultural event and only 4 performances are there for you and certificate distribution will be there. May I request you, sir, to kindly occupy the seats in the front. Thank you, so Samita. Please be quick, all the participants. Be quick with your performances. So Samita is the first one with her performance. So see, this is a spiritual talk, spiritual hall right now. So we will have spiritual performances. Okay, so enjoy it. And students, you have please have a cup of tea and samosa planned for you people. 12:30 baje ka actually, but we are late. So aap wo zarur kha ke jana. So Samita, are you ready? Then Simran, please get ready with your music, right? Okay, Samita is there. Prakriti, you can check her song.
डाउनलोड क्यों नहीं
मैंने सेव किया.
Thank you so much, Saurabh sir. Please give us all applause to Saurabh sir. Thank you, sir. So this is Samita.
गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणवन्दिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रतिष्ठाय धीमहि स्वतन्त्राय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि चतुराय गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुरुप्राणाय
Very well done, Sunita. Very nice. Such a wonderful performance. Thank you. Next is Simran. Shilpa, please get ready with your singing performance.
Audio. Ready?
Wow. Thank you so very much, Simran, for such a beautiful performance. And this is called as our culture. जिसमें हम नृत्य के थ्रू दिखाते हैं कि हमारी जितने भी कॉर्ड्स हैं वो किस तरह के हैं और उनकी प्लेसेस के लिए भी ब्यूटीफुल नृत्य पेश किया जाता है. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. नेक्स्ट मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी शिल्पा फॉर सिंगिंग. तो मैंने कहा है एंजॉय द स्पिरिचुअल पार्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ. तो आज आप झूमिए और जब भी आप भगवान को मानते हैं या बिल्कुल मानते हैं, जस्ट बी थैंकफुल फॉर दिस लाइफ.
Ram Narayan
योगानंद सेंटर बहुत theology में सारी इच्छाएं पूरी हो जाती है क्योंकि भगवान हमारे अंदर रहते हैं ऐसा सोचते नहीं है ऐसा ये 110% परफेक्ट है सो अभी शिल्पा ने कहा कि मुरली की धुन सुना दो कहना सो वी हैव कहना विद अस एंड वेयर इज ही so he is there and he will be performing pure performance right so Vaibhav over to you.
Thank you.
And he's Ghana of Shoolini University. Thank you, Weber. And the last performance is Vishal. So, Vishal.
अभी चलते हैं तो कोई बात नहीं तो फिर अब हंसते रुके
Very nice. And this was all about our YCT cultural event. I hope you enjoyed it. Now we request Dr. Banerjee sir, along with Vivek sir, to kindly come on the stage for prize distribution. So, background data में सिर्फ हमारे पास ceremony first, second, third prize and judges. So time हमारे पास कम है इसलिए हम participation raise your hand जो participation debate competition में किया था वो कौन है? Okay. So team leaders हैं उनके और बाकी भी हैं, right? तो हमारे पास तो मैं थोड़ा सा background दे दूँ पिछले महीने हमने organize करवाया था debate competition. So science and religion पे बहुत अच्छा हमारा debate competition गया था, हमारे judges भी यहीं पे हैं. तो आज हम उनके विनर्स हम उसी दिन अनाउंस किए थे एंड वी प्रॉमिस कि जब भी विवेक सर आएंगे और हमारे स्पीकर्स आएंगे तो हम आपको तब प्राइज मिल जाएंगे आपको. सो हियर आर द प्राइजेस. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी रिक्वेस्ट द जजेस टू प्लीज टेक योर मेंटो एंड ट्रॉफीज फॉर योर टाइम. आपने बहुत टाइम उस टाइम निकाला और बहुत अच्छी जजमेंट दी हमें, सो वेरी ऑनर्ड. मैं रिक्वेस्ट डॉक्टर Supriya Srivastava. May I request you, ma'am, to kindly come up on the stage for your prize. Ma'am is also a YCT research head, faculty, very active faculty coordinator है, ma'am research category में YCT की. Thank you, ma'am, for your time and thank you, ma'am. Next we have Dr. Lalit Sharma. सर ने ही आज का ये सारा जो ऑनलाइन इवेंट है, इसके लिंक्स ये सब सर बनाते हैं, हम सर को बहुत परेशान करते रहते हैं राजा. So thank you so very much, sir. I will start after the great contribution to हमारे साथ पार्टनर. Thank you so much. मैं चाहूंगी सौरभ अग्रवाल सर यहाँ पे अभी मौजूद नहीं है, उनके बिहाफ पर कोई स्टूडेंट वाईसीटी का आके ले लेते. पांचू आएगा, आप सर के बिहाफ पे रिसीव कर दीजिए. सर सबसे ज्यादा एक्टिव है सौरभ सर. मैं चाहूंगी जोरदार तालियां हो जाएंगे सौरभ. Thank you. Now the teams. So first prize goes to Urvashi team. So may I request Urvashi and her team to kindly come on the stage for collecting your trophy. First prize. So this was the debate competition and बहुत अच्छा इन्होंने सोल हमारा टॉपिक था. क्या हम सोल हैं या फिर बॉडी हैं, तो इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा डिबेट उस पर किया और इन्होंने बताया कि हम सोल कैसे हैं. थैंक यू सो वेरी मच उर्वशी एंड कांग्रेचुलेशंस. सेकंड प्राइज Thank you. Second prize was won by this is Vishal and team. Wonderful debate. Thank you for your participation. They are very studious students, all rounder. इनमें से सारे स्टूडेंट हमारे कहीं ना कहीं कोऑर्डिनेटर्स हैं, स्टूडेंट डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज हैं. They all are heads. Thank you so very much. Prize winner was Ram team. So we have Ram, a very active student, always helpful. Very nice. Thank you, Ram. पार्टिसिपेशन स्टूडेंट्स हैं यहाँ पे जिन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट किया था डिबेट कंपटीशन में, सारे हैं. प्लीज आई रिक्वेस्ट एवरीवन जिन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट किया था डिबेट कंपटीशन में, वो एक ग्रुप फोटोग्राफ सर्टिफिकेट्स के साथ. आपको सर्टिफिकेट हम वन बाय वन तो नहीं दे पाएंगे, बट ग्रुप फोटोग्राफ के लिए आप स्टेज पर आ जाएं. जो कम एवरीवन कम ऑन फास्ट. यस डिबेट कंपटीशन में जिन्होंने पार्ट लिया था वो सभी के सभी आ जाएं. जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स थे Thank you so very much, everyone. Thank you, Energy Sir, for being with us. Thank you, Vivek Sir. Thank you so very much. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Such a nice audience, shant audience. Thank you.
I have one.
Yes.
One small announcement at 2 p.m. We have a special seminar on the civil services careers. Because I have something to do with civil services also, which I won't tell you right now. But we can talk about careers in the civil services at 2 p.m. RTH. The venue is RTH. If you want to learn about IAS, IPS, HAS, पता है क्या होता है? Himachal Administrative Service. You can be there at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. There's a special career-oriented lecture over there. Thank you.